Mark Fontes here for HamiltonPulse.com. Thank you so much for joining us. Back to school means sort of a drag for a lot of students here in the township, but for the student athletes, especially those who play fall sports, it's a very exciting time to get their games on as the autumn wind blows in. Now across town, the boys and girls soccer squads, field hockey, girls tennis, all those teams are looking forward to big and great things this year. On the Gridiron, all three township varsity football programs are looking and hoping for the same. We are very happy to be joined by all three Hamilton Township varsity football coaches right here in the comforts of Steinert's Library. We don't have a Steinert bias on this. We've welcomed all three gentlemen here. Steinert's Dan Caruso, to his immediate left, Tom Hoagland of Hamilton West, and to his left, Mr. John Big Dog Adams from Nottingham. Gents, thanks so much for joining us. Well, Dan, we'll start with you. I mean, even those that don't like Steinert football have to admit that last year was a season for the ages. I mean, the program finished 9-3 overall. It included your guys' first ever playoff wins, both of which were on the road, by the way, at Wall and at Woodbridge. And you gave Neptune a scare before, unfortunately dropping that state championship game. A lot of people have left, but I'm sure you're living in the present. What do you look forward to this year in 2012?
We've stressed to the kids it's a new team, and every year's a new team. And yes, we graduated 20 seniors last year, but I'm anxious to see what our guys can do this year. We have a lot of talent. We have a good group. While it's not as big of a senior class, only 13 guys, it's a strong class. And they're not coming off the field. I mean, they're two-way guys. They're getting after it, and I'm really anxious to see the type of team that we are. With the opening game that we have, we're going to see right away.
Mm-hmm. Adam Reese, it's very hard to replace a quarterback like him. He was pretty much throughout every game last year. I know the second half against West Windsor North, he had a lot of subs in that one. But talk about who's coming in, from the pipeline to fill his role and what you expect from your quarterback.
I mean, you really don't replace an Adam Reese. I mean, we're not asking anybody to fill his shoes. We're asking people, to go out and manage a game. And John Zim won our quarterback job, and John, had a very good preseason. And John's doing all the right things right now. He's managing the team. He's running the offense. He's being a leader, and we expect a lot of good things out of him.
Excellent. I want to talk quarterbacks with you, Tom, because your program of all three here in town is going to have the one quarterback who is returning from playing a substantial amount of time on varsity. Mm-hmm. Talk about what Mark Aquaviva, by the way, is a senior this year. Talk about what Mark brings to your team, both on and off the field.
Well, number one, he's a leader on the field and off the field. He's a peer leader in school, top 20 in his class. He's a very intelligent kid. And anytime you can put a kid with, those credentials as your quarterback, it's going to help you and your football team. He can make all the right moves, and he's really worked hard in the offseason to improve on his athletic ability. He's a lot bigger, he's a lot stronger, he's throwing the ball deeper, and I think this is going to help open up our offense a lot more this year.
Right. Among your offensive players, I know Brett Stroman was a pretty big graduation casualty,
sure,
but you do have a lot of returning players, especially in and around the line. Your 2011 team, I'll go ahead and bring that in. I mean, you had that fast start, 4-0.
Right.
Things kind of hit you kind of hit a roadblock when the Northern Burlington game came up, and I think you dropped that one in overtime, and then things kind of went to the wayside. But how do you stress to the team, those that are returning and those that may be on varsity for the first time, how do you keep things going consistently to have?
Well, as Dan said, this is a new team, and we try to tell our kids that, and our seniors learned from last year. We try to stress, have more guys have opportunities this year. Last year we counted on Brett Stroman, and that was our game plan going in. And unfortunately, he kind of got nicked up midway through the season, and we really didn't have anywhere to go. But with our quarterback and our running backs this year, and I think probably the best core receivers we've had in a long time, we're going to be able to spread the ball around a lot more this year. And when we've been successful in the past is when we've been able to spread the ball around and get more people involved in the offense. And defensively, our secondary besides Stroman is all back. Our middle linebackers back. So those are guys that have game time experience, and that's going to go a long ways this year.
Great. John, you and the North Stars are coming off kind of a status quo average season, if you will. It did start off with that exciting, 1-point victory over Steinert, but then, everybody suffers some tough losses, and I know in your case, you played West Windsor South on the road. That was a tough game. You went to Notre Dame, I believe, which was another loss. But, I mean, you've got a lot of incentive to win big this season because you have a number of people, again, on both sides of the ball coming back. What would you say pleased you most at camp this summer?
Well, first of all, being in the situation that I was in with my health, just that my teams really stepped up this year. A lot of leadership from the senior class, and my coaches. I can't say enough positive things about the gentleman I coach with, but the kids really amped it up. I mean, we had some very good practices, some intense practices, and I'm very pleased with the pace of the team and how we're progressing as a group. But we got a lot of senior leadership on our football squad. Even though we got hit heavy by graduation, particularly at the quarterback position and on the line, offensive line, we have a lot of kids with a lot of game experience coming back that we're going to rely on and need, particularly on the defensive side of the ball, where I think we're going to be a real force.
Mm-hmm. Isaiah Obato, your quarterback, another one who's very tough to replace like Adam Reese. A very special young man in your life is coming into that starting quarterback role. He's been watching you coach there because you've been coaching longer at Nottingham longer than your active players have been alive. But talk about the young man who is a junior, by the way, who's being more than likely going to be the starting quarterback this year, and what you expect from him.
Well, we came into the summer program and into the spring, and Steve, my son, was coming off of a JV year, which he threw 20 touchdown passes and played at a very high level. The team was undefeated. Not just him, but our JV team, our sophomore class is special. Our junior class this year is, there's a lot of good players in there that people are going to take notice of. But he was one of them, and he worked very hard in the offseason to unseat a senior from that position. Luke Westenberg is an excellent player. He has a lot of game experience for us, and Steve knew that he was an excellent player and really stepped up to the challenge of winning the quarterback job and had a tremendous summer. Was completing over 70% of his passes in all of our 7-on-7 action that we did. Had very good preseason, and he really went out and won the job through his efforts, and had nothing to do with the fact that he's my son. It has to do with the fact that he was the hardest working kid at the position, put the most time in, and I also feel, though, at the same time, if something happens to him, that I have a bonus because I have a kid who can go in and has played varsity level football. He can step right in there. And at one time before the decision was made, there was even a thought of possibly rotating the two. But we felt that as a staff that Steve earned a position, and it just makes it special because he is my son and he has been around. He was the ball boy, and standing on the sideline in 2005 when we got a chance to play at Rutgers, and he was at the Sunshine Classic, and he's been around football and knows all the coaches and has seen the players, and now he's living out the dream of being a North Star.
That's great. And of course, Luke Westerberg, you mentioned, also of North Star baseball fame. I know
Yes.
I've seen him
Yes.
a lot on the diamond over
Yes.
at Nottingham. Well, folks, you might be aware that this year's schedules for each of the three teams quite different from years past. Steinert, for the first time in decades, will not play Notre Dame. The other two schools will. And of course, for Nottingham, that's become a big draw in recent years. The day after Thanksgiving, Nottingham is at home against Notre Dame. We're going to go ahead and talk about the Week 1 matchups. Steinert is at Allentown. Hamilton West is at Hopewell Valley, and then Nottingham is fortunate enough to open the season at home against Hightstown. Dan, I know that with Allentown, a lot of people are already predicting them to be a likely state championship contender. Jay Graber's done an excellent job in his first two seasons. What do you guys expect in that matchup?
I mean, you said it. Allentown is a great football team, and Jay really has done a tremendous job building that program up. And we know we got a dogfight on our hands, and if we're not careful, they're gonna put up a lot of points. And so our kids are aware of this. They know what they bring to the table. They've been film rat studying as much as they can, and we know what that team is capable of. But at the same time, we know what we're capable of, and we're going to go out and we're going to scrap with them. Hopefully, I don't want to say it's going to be a shootout type game because I'd like to see a defensive struggle. But with our high-powered offense and they really don't have too many weaknesses, we're going to be in for a dogfight.
Okay. I mean, Hopewell Valley, I know that you and some of your coaches had a chance to see them scrimmage recently against Pennington. It's a program that, not the strongest football-wise in the CVC or, West Jersey Football League in recent years, but they are, as we've talked about, very well coached by Dave Caldwell. You guys are going up there to the Dog Pound to play them. What do you expect from that first game from your guys?
I know that Dave does a tremendous job, and his players always play tough physical football. They're very scrappy, and they're going to come after you for 48 minutes, and it's always a tough game. And we've never played well up at Hopewell, and I've been trying to tell our kids that. And opening day, anything can happen. You have a lot of young kids that are playing their first varsity game, and last year we went to Heightstown opening night, and some of our young kids made mistakes, and we learned real quick. And you just got to hope that your young kids don't make too many mistakes, and your veterans kind of take over the game. And our kids are excited. And just like game one, I know Dan and John won't sleep for the next few nights worrying about game one, and I know I won't sleep. But our kids are excited. Hopewell was 5-5 last year. We were 5-5. So hopefully we've done some good things in the off season to get ready for this game and come out with a W on Saturday.
Last year was Hopewell that had a taste of the mighty, always challenging nowadays anyway, Allentown Redbirds, and the final score 30-6 in favor of Allentown. So that program, a lot of returning kids. Again, you'll be able to see highlights of that game, Steinert versus Allentown, on Hamilton Pulse. So please stay with us. But John, I mean, your guys are the one team in town that does get to open at home. Go ahead and talk about that as being, do you think it's an advantage or not? And also Pete Brush's club, I mean, he's coming into his third season, I believe, as the head coach there. Numbers are sort of low at Heightstown. I mean, he doesn't seem to get as much participation as he would like, from the kids that could play varsity football. But what do you make of that week one matchup between you and them?
Well, it's a tough opener. First of all, Pete and I are very close. Developed a tremendous relationship over the last couple of years, and he is someone I really respect. The things that he's done and trying to instill in his football program, he's worked very hard. And he's got an excellent football team. He's got a great quarterback, throws the ball very, very well. Showed last year he can hurt you with his legs too. Against us, he had some big runs and really did catch us by surprise running the football. But I know Pete's has his kids prepared, and we got Big Jude, plays defensive end. He's only been playing football, I think he said 3 years or something. And the young man, he picked the game up real quick. So we got to account for him. And they have some real good skill players, a wide receiver. The young man plays in the slot, very, very good wide out. And they have some other good people up front. So they're going to be a very tough opener. We're looking forward to the challenge. We get to play at home. I don't know if that's an advantage because we have a lot of guys stepping into their first game. It makes it a little easier when you play at home. You don't have to come off the bus and in strange territory and that kind of thing. But at the same time, it's kind of strange territory for those kids because they don't know what the band and the hoopla and the excitement of the first game. And we just have to stay out of making mistakes and play smart football. Let our defense kind of dictate to the Rams how the game's going to be played. Because I really do believe that we are going to be very, very good on defense, and they really have to get the job done for us this year.
Great. And of course, all of our HamiltonPulse.com viewers, if you will, subscribers, are anxious to see the head-to-head matchups between each team. Last year it was kind of like rock, paper, scissors. Steinert did beat Hamilton West beat Nottingham beat Steinert. So week 3, Steinert and Nottingham will play against each other. It's at Steinert's place. Nottingham and Hamilton West, I believe, go to head-to-head just after that. So yeah. Week 5, okay. And then, Steinert and Hamilton West, as they've been doing for decades now, will meet up here at Steinert's place on Thanksgiving Day for that annual Turkey Day Bowl. West leads the series by quite a bit. In recent years, they've split 2 of the last 4, so it should be a great matchup nonetheless. But of course, watch all 3 of the programs because we will have ample coverage, video highlights, commentated by myself, of all these teams throughout this season, and we wish them all the very best. Gentlemen, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having
us. All right, I'm Mark Fontes. Thank you so much for joining us on this early season football coaches special. We are coming to you from Steinert's library, and thanks again for stopping by. We'll see you again really soon.